What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at this week's edition of Raw, as well as the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Carmella's Attire malfunction, a dirty joke has been removed from WWE, a released superstar wants to play Lilly, a superstar injured on Raw, a date has been set for the Queen of the Ring tournament, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. As always, we won't recap the matches, but just provide you with the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. As always, we start off with the good as number 1, almost a superhero, already a success. As the WWE has a potential phenomenon on its hands with Nikki Ash. Ash is a perfect role model for younger viewers. Her displays of heart and determination is an inspiration and serves as a reminder to follow your dreams regardless what setbacks may befall you. Nikki's character is a great lesson to kids that anything can be achieved. Her unique charisma and undeniable passion comes through television every week. Number 2, the Archer of Infamy hits the bullseye. A Damian Priest's match with the United States Champion Sheamus was a strong match as wrestling's Archer of Infamy hit the bullseye and showed that he and Sheamus have the kind of in-ring chemistry that could lead to an excellent undercard feud. As fans know, a strong undercard is what supports a wrestling show, especially a 3-hour one. But so far, they deserve credit for what is done with the Damian vs Sheamus program, using Humberto Carrillo to build Sheamus up as a bully, then inserting Priest into the picture to show him standing up to the bully. And number 3, surprising storytelling. Incredibly, Priest vs Sheamus wasn't the only example of WWE crafting compelling stories on the undercard, and incredible as it may sound, doing so over several weeks. As expected, the John Morrison vs Riddle series has been fantastic in the ring, but it's also helped set things up for the return of Randy Orton. More on that in the news ahead, as Miz and Morrison enlisted AJ Styles and Omos's help in beating down Riddle. Raw is still a flawed program, but the WWE can continue with ongoing storylines like this, as the Red brand could gradually improve. Of course, with Monday Night Football fast approaching, Vinnie Mac may see a huge decrease in ratings and panic scrapping everything in search of a quick fix. But that was the good. What about the bad? Is number 1, there's Flair. Again. As Charlotte Flair is one of wrestling's most talented performers, but why is she back in the Raw Women's Championship picture again? Flair's feud with Rhea Ripley affirmed the Queen's status as a top performer, but does she need to constantly show up in the women's title picture? Granted, the women's division on Raw is lacking, but the WWE is missing a golden opportunity for Nikki Ash vs Alexa Bliss program. Instead, Bliss seems headed for a feud with Eva Marie, while Flair is set to battle Ash in yet another repeat of a vicious cycle of Flair facing a babyface who isn't on a level, but then loses anyway. Number 2, where was Cena? Now that John Cena is back in the WWE, it looks like the WWE is capitalizing on his appearance, bringing him to Raw, SmackDown, and even some house shows. While Cena wrestled after Raw went off the air, it didn't have him appear on the show, a puzzling move that seems like a wasted opportunity. If they really want to make this the summer of Cena, it needs to feature him on Raw as well as SmackDown on television. It's doubtful the WWE Universe will tire of seeing Cena that often, as he's only going to be around for a few weeks before Roman Reigns adds him to the Tribal Chief victim list at SummerSlam. Number 3, Karrion Kross's costly win. NXT champion Karrion Kross got a win last night, but it was a costly one as it came at the expense of the recently returning Keith Lee. While it was good to see Kross win, it shouldn't have come at Lee's expense. This is Lee's second consecutive loss since his Raw return last week, and suggests that WWE has no intention of pushing him. If anything, the WWE should have given Lee some wins before having him face Kross, something which would have made Kross vs Lee's match seem like something big, especially for fans who don't watch NXT. Number 4, the Charlotte Conundrum. A Charlotte's clean win over the champ was a potentially disastrous move as it made Nikki Cross look incredibly inferior to Charlotte. Last night's main event saw Charlotte Flair not only beat Raw Women's Champion Nikki Ash in a non-title match, but beat her in a way that made Nikki look as if she didn't belong in the ring with her. Flair's post-match attack on Nikki only compounded Nikki's pathetic and problematic portrayal as someone who doesn't deserve the championship. I mean, seriously, did Nikki say, "I lost but I almost beat you"? We can only hope the WWE is going to use this week's match as a way of showing Nikki Ash dealing with a superior opponent and relying on her heart and determination to beat her. If not, the fans are going to start booing her, as nobody likes a main event wrestler who gets beat up every week. It's one thing to have Nikki overcome adversity, but having her half-ass her way into victory does nothing to make her a role model. And Lilly Lucian? It's quickly become clear that both Eva Marie and Alexa Bliss are two characters that WWE Creative is using to entertain Vince McMahon. Last night's bit with Lilly was a true WTF moment, and yet another reminder of how they've removed everything cool about Alexa Bliss's creepy character and turned it into a one-note joke that revolves around a dumbass doll. But that was bad. What about the downright ugly as the 90-10 rule? Now, you've likely heard of the 80-20 rule that states 80% of your business comes from 20% of your clients. Well, incredibly, Vince McMahon has managed to craft what we are dubbing the Raw rule, which states 10% of Raw is entertaining, while the other 90% is best viewed on fast forward. Last night's show was no different, with largely lifeless matches and the usual rehashes, including Bobby vs Cedric and Shelton Benjamin Part 300. Raw is showing promise with its undercard, but it's buried a hole so deep for itself that it could take months to climb out of. What did you guys think of Raw this week? Let us know in the comments down below. Now, let's move on to the news. Our first story looks at two potential big dates for WWE. Now, there are two potentially big dates for the WWE, as it looks like the promotion is gearing up for both its Queen of the Ring event and a return to Saudi Arabia. The MatMen podcast Andrew Zarian is reporting that the Queen of the Ring tournament is currently scheduled to start on the 8th October SmackDown and 11th October Raw. As for the WWE's return to Saudi Arabia, Zarian notes, hearing from a source, WWE will return to Saudi Arabia in October, if there are no restrictions at that time. Heard 21st October, but have not double confirmed. It should be interesting to see what legends show up in Saudi Arabia, as well as who wins the Queen of the Ring tournament. Probably expecting Hulk Hogan vs Goldberg at the Saudi Arabia show. Next up, Natalya Injured is the WWE Women's Tag Team Champion Natalya Injured. In case you missed last night's Raw, Natalya had to be helped back to the dressing room after a tag match against Eva Marie and Doudrop. During the latest Wrestling Observer Radio, Meltzer commented on what happened. It was not evident watching the match, but what happened was essentially Doudrop Piper Niven. When she did the takedown, Natalya kinda rolled and the ankle was twisted in a really ugly way. We don't know right now how serious it is, but it's probably serious. I don't know that she's had x-rays or anything, but it's not the knee, it's the right ankle. And I saw the clip and she just rolled it when she did the cradle spot. That's what happened. Now, it's unknown as to the production of this video whether Natalya is injured, and if so, just how serious, but we'll keep you updated. Next up, a dirty joke has been removed from WWE. Roman Reigns has been killing it on SmackDown with his promos and matches. Unfortunately, his promo from the 23rd July episode of SmackDown was apparently too hot for the WWE's social media. Roman Reigns cut a sizzling promo on John Cena, saying with John Cena it's the same thing over and over, it's like missionary position every single night. According to the Wrestling News' Paul Davis, the original missionary position line is included on WWE on Fox, YouTube and Twitter account, but it's been removed on WWE's official social media accounts. Next up, John Cena wrestles on Raw. John Cena returned to action again, this time on Raw as he teamed up with Riddle to defeat Mace and T-Bar after Raw went off the air. You may recall Cena wrestled on the 23rd July SmackDown, teaming with the Mysterios to defeat Roman Reigns and the Usos. It's believed that the WWE is using these after-show matches to pop the crowd and help Cena get ready for his SummerSlam bout against Universal Champion Roman Reigns. Next up, Randy Orton coming back soon? Randy Orton has been off television for several weeks, leaving RK Bro member Riddle to fend for himself while he waits for his friend's return. However, it looks like the Viper, who's been reportedly on the injured reserve list, could be back soon as the 2nd August Raw. Wrestle Talk's Liam Winnett is reporting Orton is being advertised for the 2nd August Raw in a match featuring himself, Riddle and Drew McIntyre against a team of Styles, Omos and WWE Champion Bobby Lashley. Next up, Carmella's Attire Malfunction. It looks like SmackDown superstar Carmella had to wrestle with an unusual problem, an attire malfunction. Mella was wrestling SmackDown Women's Champion Bianca Belair at a house show in Louisville, Kentucky when her bra strap broke. Thankfully for Mella, she was able to continue wrestling without the fans seeing, anything else. She tweeted, "Y'all wish," after a predicament. And finally, a released superstar wants to play Lilly. Last but not least, as the WWE Universe continues to ponder whether a wrestler will eventually play Alexa Bliss's demon doll Lilly in the ring, a recently released superstar talked about how she'd love to play Lilly. During an appearance on Those Wrestling Girls podcast, Chelsea Green commented, "Honestly, if they called me and said, 'Do you want to be Lilly?' I would in a heartbeat, because that is totally the type of character that I just feel like we need to see, and I want to be that person." She talked about how she wanted to work with The Fiend when she was in WWE. Do you think she would play a good Lilly? Let us know in the comments down below. I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.